Hi everyone, welcome to Papa's Workshop. You know, every now and then there's a product that comes along that's just a lot of fun to be able to play with and enjoy. And this is one of them. This is the LaserPecker 2. That is a fantastic laser that's just a lot of fun to be able to use. I had a great time being able to put this together and do a number of little simple, small projects that were great. Now this has a small engraving area, but it's super fast and it does an amazing job of the engravings. So today I want to take a few minutes to be able to show you this laser and do some projects that this laser can do that a lot of the other lasers just can't do. So let's take a look and see what all is in the box. I'm going to get this out. Have that out right there. This is the LaserPecker unit itself. Has a little foam block in there to be able to protect it during the shipping. Not sure what this little gizmo is yet. I'm sure we'll find out. And we'll get this little shield out of here. Now when you plug this in, you do have a fan that's going to exhaust the fumes out. And you got the power cord. Let's see what all we have in here. Yeah, power cord, the adapter cable, so we'll need that. This is part of that base assembly. Looks very well made. You can look at this in the camera here, and everything looks extremely well built. And we have some more items that we can engrave. Looks like a little dog tag and a piece of plywood. And we have a ruler. Looks like the type of ruler that I had in first grade. And we've got a couple of screws and a little small Allen wrench there. Okay. And they've got this tucked in like that. So that obviously is going to be the base. And I think that's it for that one. And over here, yeah, there's nothing else in there. And this is going to be, I'll bet that's a pair of glasses. Well, it is the glasses. And surprise, surprise, we have some more cables to be able to hook everything up. And of course, we can't forget the owner's manual. That was tucked in there too. All right, let's see if we can get all this stuff together so that we can make something work and burn some wood and a few things. Now, if we look at the laser itself, we got this nice little handle here, so we can carry it around. Now on here is a little indicator light. You have a button right here. That is going to be right there for a preview. You can push that and it will show you down where it's going to be engraving. And then you got this little indicator button here, and this one is going to be able to turn the power off and on. Back here on the back of this, we've got all the little plug-ins right here that we were going to be able to do for your power, for your USB. Down here, we've got this where we can mount it, and of course we got the laser right here. Now these little slots right here, that's going to be where that little shield will snap on in place. And you have these little connectors there that's going to slide into, just like that. Now the assembly of this is actually really easy. All it's going to do is just take these two screws and we're going to slide them into this hole and screw it in. And that is going to be the assembly. Hardest part is getting it out of the bag. There we go. So this now, we'll be able to receive those two screws right there. Just gonna flip that over, put that right down there, and just drop in these 2 little screws. Now there you go, assembly is complete. Now everything else is just slips on. I'm gonna go ahead and take my fancy shield off for a moment. Oops, didn't really mean to do that. But now I'm gonna go ahead and take this screw hole, match it up with this, and we'll be able to line that up and screw it on. There we go, look at that. Now this little stand is motorized, and you have the up and down buttons right here. And that's what we're going to use to be able to set the proper height to our work project to be able to do the engraving. Now this height must be 110 millimeters. And we've got that on this fancy gauge right here that we're going to use. Now another way to be able to get the height, you got this handy dandy little lever right here that will slide down, and we'll lower this down till it just touches the surface of the material, and that will take care of it. So I'm going to keep that up here right now. Now with this stand right here, this is actually the 3rd way that you can actually set the height. So this would actually slide right up in here. I can line it up. There we go. And then we'll lower this whole unit down to where this bottom edge of this will touch the material surface, and you've got the height adjusted. So 3 ways to be able to do the same thing. On the back of the unit, we need to go ahead and plug this in to the stand, which is right down here, and that will give it power. So I'm going to take one of these cables, and I'm just going to go ahead and plug it in right there, and then stretch this out. We'll plug that in right there. Now we're going to have power to this vertical lift. Now that I have this laser shield on here with this fan, we got to plug in the fan. And to do that, we're just going to come right up here and plug that in, and that way the fan's going to be able to operate. So right here we have a port that we can connect a computer to, and next to that we have the power to be able to operate this laser. And I'm going to go ahead and plug that in right now, and plug that right there. So now we can have power to the laser. Okay, to be able to move this laser up, we're going to hit the up button, hold it down, it'll go up. We can stop it and make those fine adjustments. So this is very nice and easy to be able to operate. So that takes care of that little switch there. To be able to use this little small laser, you're going to have to download their app. And they have that little QR code to be able to scan, and it takes you right to the App Store to be able to download it. Now this to me is one of the drawbacks. I really wish that this LaserPecker 2 supported Lightburn. I really enjoy the features that the Lightburn software has, but this does not support that. So we're going to be using the app today by LaserPecker to be able to do our engraving. Now the next thing we need to do is to go ahead and download the app. So this is the app right here that I'm going to be doing. This is for Google Play and for the App Store. And for my application, I'm going to need the App Store. Now on the other side of the page, you have the after sales service. So I would suggest taking a look at this should you need it. But you can also be able to scan the QR code right here to watch instructional videos. And you have the LaserPecker 2, and this is the VIP group that you can participate in. Well, the phone no longer is a camera. The phone is going to be a phone. So I took a picture of the QR code, and I'm going to go ahead and open up this app. Now, at this point, I'm in the App Store, and of course, you have to read all of this information. And yep, I read every bit of it, and I know every one of you guys read every single thing too. So I went ahead and checked. I agree to every single thing that I know that I just read. So now I need to be able to connect it to the Bluetooth. So I wanted to make sure that the Bluetooth was turned on. And one of the things you'll notice is this indicator light on the front of the LaserPecker 2 is blinking. So it is in fact connecting to the Bluetooth through your phone. So now that that's done, I need to go ahead and set up some passwords and open up an account. So I can do that real quick. And let me do that without having the phone in front of the camera, so that I can set up the password and count numbers and all of that stuff. And it takes just a moment to be able to do it. Real simple, and it's a very step-by-step operation. Now once you do that, it opens up to a little tutorial that you can follow through, and it goes step by step. And in this case, we're using a brown piece of paper, and we're going to follow this little tutorial step by step to be able to make our first engraving. So the first step is grab the brown piece of paper out of our collection of different items that we can engrave. And I'm going to go ahead and just follow these steps one by one and put everything exactly as it should be. So the next step, with the paper in place, I'm just going to go ahead and lower this down and get the height set. Now because I have the shield in place, I'm going to use the shield to be able to set the height of the machine. And in this case, that shield is going to be all the way down on the surface, touching that piece of paper. And with the Z height set, I'm just go ahead and click next and go ahead and work my way through and get the file opened up, and literally just follow the steps one at a time. And now at this point, I'm ready to be able to engrave. Now it does ask me for the password at this point, so let me do that right outside of the view of the camera. And no, you don't get to see the password. It's easy enough to make your own password, and it takes just a moment. But once I get that entered in, the machine turns on and it's ready to go. So I'm just going to continue on now. This is at the preview screen, and it's going to be hard to see in the camera, but there is a little rectangle that is just flashing away and is showing exactly where it's going to engrave. So I'm going to move the paper over a little bit because I want it right down at the bottom corner. So I'm going to slide it right over there, and I think that will be a good location. Now hit next, continue on, and the next step is to be able to select the materials size. I have paper in there with 100% power, and we're going to do this with the one pass, and it's ready to engrave. Just that simple. So it is doing the very first engrave on my LaserPecker 2 and doing it with the logo. It also shows that glass, white material, and transparent material you cannot engrave. But you can do all these other items, such as paper, leather, bamboo, wood products, plastic, cloth, cork, steel, metal, stone, and ceramics. So there's the first little guy printed out. Not bad. Now I want to go ahead and put the paper back under there, and we're just going to do a couple more tests and change some settings and see how it works with the paper. So I'm just going to go ahead and lower it down now and set the Z height, and again that's right down on the paper with that shield. You have quite a few different graphics that you're able to choose from, but right now I'm just going to keep it simple, and we're going to choose the LaserPecker again. I think I'm going to do, let's just make this simple. We're going to do the little LaserPecker again. We'll make this 25 millimeters by the 25 millimeters, and that will take care of that. We'll be able to preview this, and we say yes. You can see the preview. I can now move this and put it really right where I want it. So that looks good. Now this time I think I'm going to increase and do 2 passes. Okay, We'll confirm that. And then we'll be able to hit start. Now, I do have a different camera that I'm using. It's an old camera, and I didn't have it on a tripod. So I apologize for a little bit of excess movement there, but I still wanted to be able to capture all of the information that I possibly could. And by doing it 2 passes, we can see it's a little bit darker on this brown paper. If you wanted to be able to repeat or go back home, we could do that also. So if I wanted to repeat, I can come right back through the same screen, preview everything. From here we can move our paper right where I want it again. Then I quit the preview. Go to next. And let's see, we can increase the power to 4%. Let's see how that does. We'll keep the 2 passes. We'll confirm that. And we'll hit start. There we go. Now you can see it's actually starting to burn through the paper. But again, this is paper. That's pretty good. Now this time we're going to try a piece of the little plywood. So I'm going to put it right in here and we're going to set the gauge. There we go. I'm going to slide that right in there. And this time, I'm going to scroll down. And I think I'm going to pick this horse. And we'll make this one as far as the millimeters. Let's make this one 50. Let's make it 60 millimeters by 60 millimeters. Whoops. Well, it's 60 by 76. Let's make it a little bit smaller. Let's make it 50. And I think that will be good. We're going to preview this. All right, we'll try that again because it did not connect. And there we go. We'll preview it. And have to enter the password. So you can see the preview now. So that looks good. So I'm going to quit the preview. We'll hit next. It's transmitting the file. The material is going to be, we'll scroll through and we'll find this for wood. We'll confirm that. Wood, power's 100%, 10% depth, 2 passes, and then we'll go ahead and hit start. We can confirm this. And it'll show the status. Now I'm just completely blown away at how fast that this engraves. Now the laser itself doesn't move, it's the light beam itself that's actually moving. Now on this horse, one pass would have been plenty. I did not need to have that second pass. Now with this being finished, we can take a look at it. And actually one pass would have been fine. But coming back over the second time, it definitely engraved it deep. And that still looks absolutely amazing. But keep in mind, you still need to be able to experiment and work with the different settings. And in this case, one pass would have been absolutely awesome, not two. Now the next thing I'm going to do is just test out the creations. And I'm going to click right here, and I can put the text in it. And I'm going to put in Papa's Workshop. And we'll confirm that. We'll leave this font. We can change the font. And then we'll hit next. That's what it's going to look like. And we're going to do this at, let's say, 60 millimeters. And the height will be 7 millimeters. And that will be good. And we're going to be able to do the same exact thing. I need to turn this around. And we're going to lower this down and align it right here with this edge. There we go. Now I'll slide it in. We'll preview it. Then I can slide this and move it exactly where I want it. And let's see, I think that looks real good right there. I'm going to go ahead and quit the preview. Hit next. This is wood. We're going to change this definitely to one pass, because that will be all we need. And I think I'm going to drop the power down to about 95%. Let's see how that goes. So this is very easy to be able to control. We'll confirm that and we'll hit start. We'll hit yes. And there we have it. Very crisp, very sharp. One pass worked real well. And changing that to 95% power, I like the way that looks. And then we'll go back home. And let's see what else we can do. Now I'm going to do the Papa's Workshop again. And we're going to change this to the wood. So we'll scroll down to wood. To right there, we'll confirm that. And the power, I'm going to change that to the 95% because I liked how that looked. We'll confirm that. And we're going to do this with one pass. And that will look good. We'll hit start. There we go. I want to preview that. And we'll preview it and we'll slide that right up there. I think that looks great. So now at this point we'll quit the preview. We have everything else set. All those settings are correct. We have the heights done. I need to make sure I grab the glasses because the shield is not on it. I'm going to go ahead and hit yes. And you can see just how fast this engraves. There we go. I now have a custom carpenter's pencil with Papa's Workshop on it. For the next test, I want to use a clothespin. And to be able to set the Z height this time, I want to use the lever. So I'm just making sure that that is exactly the correct height. Then I'll put that away. So there's the preview. For the next test, I want to see if I can do this on the vertical, and I believe I can. You can just type out each of the individual letters and have that on the vertical, so that should work out really nice. So you have a lot of flexibility in this whole setup on how you want to do it. And you can also have the alignment to keep everything exactly vertical and in line with each of the other letters. So now I'm just going to go ahead and save the file, confirm the settings, and let's get this engraved on the clothespin again. Now at this point, I'm just going to go back here, select the preview. We're going to preview this on the clothespin. I'm going to make some very minor adjustments to have this centered exactly the way that I want it. And I can just slide it and move it ever so slightly. And I think that looks real good. So you can see it's working on the second pass now. And quite frankly, one pass again would have done real well for this engraving. But let's take a close look at it now. Absolutely beautiful. So you can do the engraving on the vertical as well as the horizontal. So you can see how that looks. So there is a lot of versatility in using this little LaserPecker 2 laser. One last test that I'm going to do is on the handle of this coping saw. Now this is round, but I'm not going to have it rotating at this point. I have the preview set, so let's go ahead and do the engraving on this. Now this is a very, very old coping saw with a very hard wood handle, and it looks like it is engraving absolutely beautifully. So again, this just takes a few seconds to be able to engrave. Now the next project I want to do is I want to be able to get this in the handheld mode, and I'm going to be able to engrave on the vertical. A number of months ago, I built a cabinet that had 8 times the storage space of a normal cabinet. And one of the things that I still struggle with is being able to keep everything organized. What I'm going to do today is show you how I can put labels on a vertical piece of plywood to build with this laser and help keep myself organized. I think that's going to be a real win-win situation for the versatility of this machine and also to help me stay just a little bit more organized. Now this is the cabinet that I had built a while back, and it has a lot of these dividers to be able to help keep everything organized. But as much as I try, things still get out of place. So today what I'm going to do is go ahead and show you with this laser how I can actually label these items. And this is the worst one that gets out of place. So I'm going to start right here with this 150 grit, and I want to put the label right in here. So this is real easy to set up. Now I'm back at the home menu. I'm just going to hit creation, and right here I'm going to go ahead and type in the text, and this is 150 grit. Just like that. We'll confirm that. Now from here, I'm going to go ahead and just use a default font. So I'm going to hit next. And as far as the size, probably a 50 millimeter on the width will be great. And that will go good. So let's preview this. Now just set this up for the 220 grit. And we're going to preview it right now. I think that is going to look great. So we'll quit the preview and we'll go ahead and hit next. We'll transfer the file over. We're using the wood with 100% power, 10% depth with 1 pass. And I am going to go ahead and hit start. Now this engraves really fast, but you do have to hold the laser nice and steady. Now I had done the 150 grit and yet didn't have the camera on. Those things happen. So that's why I wanted to be able to show you the 220, and this is just amazing. That's how quick it is. This is so much faster than any laser that I have worked with in the past. So quite frankly, it's really fairly easy to be able to hold this in place without moving it. Now this is real time. I'm not cutting or editing this video in any way to be able to show you the engraving of this 220 grit text. Well, there you go. I think this turned out fantastic. So the 150 is done, 220 is done, and only a few more to go. So off camera, I'm going to go ahead and finish these, but I think you get the idea. This just looks fantastic. Thank you for watching today. This video was a lot of fun to put together, and I had a great time being able to test out the different things that this LaserPecker can do, and it can do a whole lot more. Now this video is getting a little bit long, so I'm going to be doing some additional tests and some additional projects with this laser, including using the roller attachment. So this is going to be a lot of fun. Well, until next time, I look forward to seeing each and every one of you in my shop, working on whatever project that I'm going to be doing. So bye-bye now.